Morning, everyone, on this rainy day. I appreciate everyone taking the effort to make the meeting. I think we have a rather long agenda. We'll try to navigate through it appropriately and make sure that we have time to have a appropriate discussion on those items. Given that, Brian, if you'll just do the roll call.
Yes, good morning. Mr. Mitchell,
Here.
Mr. Barber,
Here.
Mrs. Saunders Smith,
Here.
Mr. Brown,
Here.
Mr. Harmon.
Here.
Hearing. Absent. Chair, we do have a quorum.
Great. I trust that everyone has had an opportunity to read the August 18 EDA meeting minutes. Having done so, if there are no changes before revisions, I move for adoption.
Second.
Motion and second. Is there any discussion on the item? Hearing none. Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Barber,
Yes.
Mrs. Saunders Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Mr. Harmon.
Yes.
Here, the item is approved by a vote of 5-0.
Super.
Okay.
It started with the EDA property updates.
So you've got Chop, who will be presenting to you on two of your properties in the portfolio. We have decided to move the other properties in the Lake District to later in the agenda as a standalone item. So Ms. Chop, the floor is yours.
Sure. So the first property you have an update on is 219 Pavilion Drive. The plans for the this are with the city engineers and are under review. We're awaiting an update on how we will proceed, but the contract agreement has been extended until December, I believe. So we have a little bit more time for their due diligence. Do you have anything to add for me?
No, I think you summed it up well. We have this issue with the box culvert that's underground, and the landlord, Frito-Lay, PepsiCo, have been communicating with the city engineering office, and they've been exchanging plans and documents. So I think it's proceeding, and we expect for it to be resolved prior to December expiration of the due diligence period. We'll keep you abreast, obviously, the next meeting, just to let you know that it's continuing to move forward at a positive time.
Could they have to do some repairs, compression of soil, whatever it may be? Who is responsible for that cost?
Well, that would be something, it's yet to be determined, but we would have to look at that and be something that would be negotiated. It's, city infrastructure. There are easements in place, so as it is today, I understand it's adequate for purposes of providing drainage, but if there was some other need to beef that up or make modifications, that would be negotiated between the city. So.
That property is being leased from the city?
219 Pavilion, and unfortunately the aerial doesn't have the boundaries of the parcel, but it's essentially the green space to the north of the Frito-Lay building.
Mm-hmm.
The Frito-Lay property is owned by an investment group, and it's leased to Frito-Lay. The land at 219 Pavilion is your property. It's currently vacant, and we're under an agreement to sell that to the owner of the adjacent Frito-Lay building. So that would allow for future expansion. They're looking to modify their loading docks to add additional dock doors, as well as expanding their truck court. There may be opportunities for additional expansion for new facilities as well. And what you see in the plan there on the left is the rendering of the additional loading dock area, as well as the truck court being expanded. So
Are they using this as like a leverage or bargaining tool to negotiate the price of the property? Like this
No, we don't believe so. I think they would determine there's some infrastructure on the ground that they were not aware of. So they're basically just looking at the ability of that culvert to support the expansion of the parking area. Just one.
For 53 Afton, 60 Afton, and 73 Farragut, we have begun to engage with the Civic League regarding demolishing the bank building at 53 Afton. And we will continue to update you on those plans. I believe Brian has additional updates on these properties as well.
So we have been making outreach to the Civic League, trying to get a meeting with the president. We've met with their group before. We advised them of the likely need to demolish 53 Afton Parkway. The building has some pretty serious issues just in terms of its condition. We don't believe it's able to be renovated. It has been on the market for some time. We haven't had any interest in purchase of the property for renovation. But there has been interest in assembling those parcels, both the EDA and adjacent city-owned land at 53 Afton Parkway for residential infill development. We've spoken with a couple of developers that have expressed interest. So the next step would be to look at transferring that property at 57 Afton Parkway, which is just a vacant lot right now, to the EDA. And assembling a third of an acre site there in addition to what's on the other side of the square, so that we could fully package that for marketing purposes and sale. So that would be a request that we would be making to the city council here in a couple months.
Do we need to get a demolition plan authorized?
We do. So we need to, I think after we have the meeting with the Civic League, as a follow-up, advising them of our plan, we would need to pursue a certificate of appropriateness for demolition because it is in a historic district, and would need to obtain a demolition plan as well.
That's the combined acreage of the two sites.
Yes, it is for 53 and 57.
And 57 is the library, right? Or no?
No, Julie, can you go back one slide, please? So I'm not sure if you can make out the blue is really the easiest to make out, but where you see the pinpoint is 53 Afton Parkway. The red outline parcel is 57. That is currently a vacant lot and has been used over the years for a community garden. They're no longer using it for that, and that has been determined it can move to one of the nearby churches. So that would be the 30 acre site that we could assemble there. We think there's an ability to maybe have 10 to 15 townhomes possibly constructed on those properties.
So I wonder if the city owns the library too, correct? The next property over. I wonder if there could be possible conversation of a developer taking that and doing something similar to South Norfolk, where they did like a municipal center and did a library on the bottom floor at Poindexter. Something very similar where it's like a joint partnership. Because the library is in dire need of some love.
Yeah, we could certainly make that part of the conversation. So we will be moving forward with the meeting with the Civic League, and we'll continue to keep you updated as that moves forward, as well as transferring that property from the city to the. Julie, thank you. Quick update on the waterfront and our progress. As you're aware, at your August 18th meeting, you have approved the award of a contract to AECom. That contract was issued to the consultant. It's currently in with their legal team for review. We expect for that to come back any day now. Once it is received back, Chairman, we would have you execute the agreement. And then the project committee meeting with AECom would then be scheduled. So I think we're probably a couple weeks out from that happening. The other two items, we do need a cooperation agreement, which we will discuss in closed session today. That would be between the EDA and city identifying roles and responsibilities. And then lastly is the solicitation package for development interest and advertisement. So I think we're making some progress here, but certainly have a number of items that need to be addressed the coming months. Are there any questions on the status on the waterfront? Transition to the Lake District. We have some project updates for you. Got a couple of links here with some videos that I'm hoping are going to work. It's perfect. You can click on that. That's what it takes us to.
This is legal from Liberty Mutual, who helps save you hundreds by customizing your car insurance.
And his part adult is the gentleman under the security door.
Only pay for what you need. Oh.
I think we have another link on the next slide. This is an update on the King's Landing project, which is just across the street. So really just wanted to share the progress with you. I think it's helpful to see the videos because of the scale of the activity there along that 1,100 block of High Street. It's a significant amount of development and investment that's underway. So kind of helpful to see in reality what that looks like on the ground. So happy to answer questions on either of those two projects if there are any.
First of all, I enjoy your taking the time to do the visuals. They certainly make us as citizens feel like great things are going on in the city. My question is, will we be getting these every 2 weeks or monthly? Is there a schedule for updates?
So the credit goes to the city's marketing department and our video team, Aaron Cohen, and his division. They are currently on a schedule to do monthly videos. So we will continue providing you updates as the projects progress. Baines Point, I think, is on schedule for completion in early 2026. Kings Landing will likely continue on in phases for some time, but we should see them going vertical with the actual townhomes into late October. So when we get spring.
If I recall correctly, they're going to be doing it in sections, correct?
Correct. They'll be essentially building in blocks, I think, of 5 units, starting from I believe, the western end of the site, moving eastward. So it will be a phased project.
I'm glad we were able to work through the speculation and disbelief in that developer and allow this project to move forward, because if had not, there would be no progress in that area now. So glad we were, as a board, were able to, look past some of the speculations that we had and disbelief that we had in that developer and allow the project to move forward.
But you may have discussed, I just don't remember. The block before where the project is going on Effingham and High. What is going where used to be the I guess it's a car garage or something there on that corner?
Not knowing the specific address, is it
There's
machine
well
shop?
out there now, and it will remain, but then there was the data center was proposed to go there at some time, but that's Dr. What is it?
Dr. Garcia.
Okay.
So they are looking at some plans for renovating those properties. Nothing concrete. We do have some property updates for the Lake District, so I'm gonna hand it back on to Ms. Chalk for that.
Okay, the first update is for 1028 High Street, 1013, 1015 Queen Street, and 400 Hatton. This package is with procurement and will we anticipate that it will be posted this week. I was trying to get it done before this meeting, but that was not possible. We have engaged with a contractor to facilitate capping the sewer and water lines so that will be done. And once a contractor for the actual demo is obtained, then that'll facilitate the building permit process. So we're chugging along.
May have said it, but when do you anticipate the demolition? I mean, I know it won't be accurate, but just roughly based on where we are now, is it October?
So if we can get the bid package posted this week, then we would want that to be open for bids for at least 2 to 3 weeks. And then, so I would say 30 to 45 days, or maybe closer to 60 days.
Our original goal when we decided to go out for a competitive bid process was a 90-day period, which started in August. So projecting having the buildings demolished in October, as Julie was alluding to. Obviously, we're working through some procurement processes. So as that takes additional time, there's some delay to that schedule. But I still think that we would be under an agreement in October. It's a matter of the contractor's ability to mobilize quickly. So we'll look to try to make that happen as best we can. But we're shooting for October. So that's our goal. It's what we had committed to do. So we're still working towards that.
Do it. Any other questions or? Okay, for 1117 and 1121 High Street, this package is also ready to be posted. We, are hoping that it's posted within, the next week or within this upcoming week. And then I believe, later in the meeting, we will discuss, a possible grant opportunity that relates to the work that needs to be done for this property. All right, for 1220 High Street, we did receive the contractor, the report from the environmental contractor on the asbestos survey. There was non-friable materials found within the roofing materials, and so those will be provided to the as part of the renovation package for the exterior and the roof. And they did indicate that there does not need to be a separate specific asbestos abatement demolition, or not asbestos abatement specifications. So we'll provide that survey to the contractor, and so they can take the necessary precautions when they're replacing the roof for 1220 Hash Street. And then for the construction documents, we're anticipating that those will be executed within the next, in a short time. We did meet with purchasing about our delays that we've had, and I believe that they're aware of our concerns and are working to improve their processes and get things rolling. So.
Is the prospective tenant still interested in that? I know the gentleman on the left was constant contact with him. The guy from Richport Coffee has line of communication been maintained with him, and is he still interested in the property?
Yes. Julie has been in contact with him for several months, and he's indicated that he's still interested in the location. But we're really just now eyeing the construction schedule so that he can be able to time his lease with the work that needs to be done.
We're also working with him to submit a special exception application so that he can utilize the driveway or the drive-through option when he does it. So. For 934 High Street, we are working with a contractor to remove some remaining paint and gas cans that were left within the building. He's scheduled to complete that work this week, and then we would like to schedule a visit by the EDA to take a look at the property and begin strategizing on how we want to proceed with marketing the property. And so, yes, and then we've also worked with the utility companies to get the electricity back on and the water and back online. So.
We would like in the coming weeks to, as Julie mentioned, coordinate a visit to the property to allow for you to do a walkthrough. Trying to, strategize what the next step is for this property. Is it similar to the actions you're taking on 1117 High Street with some renovation work to create an LHL, leasable space? The property, appearance-wise from High Street looks okay, but I think there's an ability to dress it up a little bit. The storefront has been covered over, but it is still largely intact behind the plywood there. So reestablishing, some storefront entrance, I think would be helpful, certainly from a marketing standpoint. But inside, there is some work that needs to happen. So I would like to begin that process, working with you to identify how you would do this, making shape. Julie, thanks for the updates. Here, I believe you had an update.
Yes. Let's pass these out to them. For some time, we've been talking about what we would like to see in the Lake District. And so what I am proposing is that we have a committee stood up to kind of look at the properties that we own and find out the best usage for them. So what I did was just to put together a top level working document that the committee might want to use to answer some of the questions that are necessary for us to make the appropriate decisions. Just the background, we own some key properties in the Lake District. We have an opportunity to be a change leader there by standing up some properties that reflect the best of what we can do in the Lake District. I had two parcels, but it's really three key parcels there. 57 High Street, 934, 1028, 1117, and 1121, sometimes known as the Holmes property and the Shiny Computer property. An opportunity to develop some partnerships with existing Hampton Road developers who have done some work in the community. It will have a significant impact on generating jobs, consumer spending, and tax revenue for the city. Some of the next steps that I think we need to stand up are site clearance, environmental remediation. Some of that work we've already done. Identification and pursuit of grant opportunities, design and planning of developmental concepts, coordination with EDA and community stakeholders for their input, and presentation of a request for proposal. I understand that this is not a project that's going to get done in 7 months. We're probably looking at 1 to 2 years, but I think it's important for us to begin the work to establish what we want to see in the Lake District. Just for the fun of it, I attached a picture of what the building looked like at 932, what it could look like if it was a restaurant. And I think it maintained the integrity of the building, but also shows us some of the opportunities that might be available there. The reason I want to do this is because I think we need to start moving. And the best way to start moving on something is to develop a task team, establish some objectives, and report back where we stand. So I'm not expecting the board members to raise their hand today, but I would like all the board members to think about this. If you have the time, we certainly will be working with Brian's team to make some of this happen. We also have some resources to bring in consultants as required and any additional support as required. So you can just take a look at it. If it's something that you feel like you have a passion and interest for and have the time, you'll just let me know this week. And based on that information, we'll try to stand up the team. That's all I have.
One additional update here on the Lake District, and that is branding. Proceed to the next slide. These were two options that were presented to the EDA at your August meeting by Marketing and Communications. We received some very helpful feedback from the commissioners, and we are currently working with the Davis Agency to update and revise some of these designs based on your comments, so that we'll have, I think, some kind of refined options, and then we'll begin a process for determining which of the two, possibly a third, are the preferred and chosen logos for the districts, that we can begin with all the marketing and branding initiatives, wayfinding, and so forth. That will go along with the process. So, expecting that we'll have that in October to come back to you with a formal recommendation.
Is it a possibility to open this up or work with the Davis Agency and the Portsmouth Public Schools to open this up as an art contest for kids to design the logo for this? Gotta start some in-house dialogue about what's the assignment you're working on, what you're doing. It'll start some community involvement with the area, and it'll give us some other options, some other design options. It's just a short contest, and they could stamp it, they could run it, they could spearhead it to keep their agency involved in it. But I think it should be a little more community involvement in that, and you can probably get better results from the people that's actually going to be.
We can certainly bring that back to the marketing department. I think that was suggested at the August meeting.
Mhm.
Certainly discuss that with them, what the process looks like going forward.
Right.
I think Neil suggested, if I remember right, that in Richmond, it was an open source logo. Basically, if I understand correctly, anybody can go in.
Right.
Manipulate and play with it, but it extended the brand
Mhm.
even further by being open source. So I know that was mentioned.
Right, yeah, that's right.
Correct. So we hope to have some updates for you in October on the final group to choose from.
Are we gonna have updates in October on the final ones to choose from if we don't consider? So we're not even going to consider allowing the public schools the involvement in this.
I don't know if that's beyond bringing it to them. I don't know if we're your decision maker on that. We can certainly voice our opinion.
Yeah, because nobody likes those. I'm gonna speak for the consensus. They're generic. Playing around with AI, I asked them to generate a link for the a logo for the link, and it gave me the exact same one that's on option 2. So I would like to see a little more human involvement, some creativity in this. It can't take longer than to build up the area itself. So we should just have some more involvement in it. Get some better options.
But I do, not to belabor the point, if we don't get that, I do think you raised a good point. Maybe the students could be involved with the social media piece of it. I think engaging young people.
The whole contest could be a social media thing. So it's simple to put together. The concept is there, but I don't know the relationship of the city and the Davis Group. I know they're a marketing team for the city, but certain people or some agencies or individuals, they like to take credit for things themselves. So it might be a blow to their ego to say, well, we let some school kids design this instead of our agency's top designers make it. So it's just something to throw out there and think about. But we got some talented artists in our school systems, and it's something that they could be involved in early, because Norcom is in the middle of the link. Norcom High School is in the middle of the link. It's a place to live, innovate, network, and create. So why not let the community begin that process by designing a logo for it, or at least having some participation in the logo design?
If we did go the education route, the best way to do it would be to go through the Church and Arts Academy, which they have visual arts that also includes digital art. And with that, you get all three the buy-in from all three high schools.
Mhm.
Because you literally, they enroll into the program from Norcom or Manor to go to Churchland before that.
Mhm.
So you will still get the buy-in from this entire student body from PPS, but it'll be streamlined to just those visual arts students. Miss Taylor Martin is their coordinator. I can reach out to her depending on what is the process for that, if that was an option. But that would be the best way to still keep it streamlined with a subgroup of students that are visual artists.
Mhm.
That is what they want to go into for profession, or what they're matriculating right now in high school, but still offer their input.
I'm a little reluctant with this only because there are a lot of stakeholders that are bringing this information to us. So every stakeholder says, I want to have certain input, certain people doing something. I think that's why they went outside and got a branding company to do it. I think there are some opportunities within this that the schools and other stakeholders can be involved. I'm just not quite sure that the marketing department is going to be willing to give up.
That's what I said about ego and
I got to, inject that. I don't think it's a matter of ego and credit. Davis Agency, as the agency of record for the city of Portsmouth,
Mhm.
was contracted to provide branding for the Lake District.
right. Doesn't have to be
They're-
acceptable
they're
to some
carrying
point
out
though.
the task that they were contracted for. So I don't think it's anything about egos or taking credit. They're simply performing the task that they were contracting for.
But if you don't meet the standards and requirements of the contract, Brian, you could I'm gonna defer. I'll defer to it. Yes.
Yes, I guess what I think is that those particular ones weren't as impressive to us. But like we wanted something, it reminded us of other logos that we had seen other places. And we were hoping to get some type of design that was distinctive to Portsmouth. And I don't know how much control we have about it, but I think that's what our issue is.
And a contract has performance metrics in it. So if they're not meeting the performance metrics of the contract, players get cut, contracts get broken.
I believe your feedback was taken and was provided back to Davis. So I think that's part of the process, is why I had shared with you that in October, you should be seeing some updates and some refined versions of the logos, possibly even a new addition to the two that were presented to you.
And I am hopeful that from that conversation from our last meeting to even this conversation right now, that they now see that we do have a lot more input in the design, that we do expect excellence, and that they will not submit just random renderings.
Right,
So I think we've set the message. We'll let them see what they're going to come up with for the next one.
right.
Again, I think we're in an advisory role at this point, and we're not in the decision-making role, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Who makes the decision in October when they bring the new logos back to us?
We're still in an advisory role to the city. So, it's not our decision to be made.
Okay. So October, when they bring more logos back to us, what do we do in October? Are we gonna vote on those logos in October?
We can express our opinion, but that's about all we can do.
Okay.
All right.
Anyone? Timothy?
Yes, thank you, Chair. The entertainment district, for those who have not been by the casino recently, the Landing Hotel has broken ground. Construction has commenced. The contractor has mobilized. There has not been a formal groundbreaking ceremony yet. They're still working out the dates, but that is planned. I believe it was originally scheduled for next week. That has shifted, maybe in early October. But the construction activity has started, which is encouraging. We also have been working with Rush Street on planning for additional development adjacent to the casino. We've had some exchange of dialogue as it relates to what types of uses would be preferred. So we've had some good information being shared back and forth. And what has been suggested is possible visit to the Schenectady Casino, where there is a mixed-use development that has evolved around their casino, which includes some entertainment, dining, as well as housing that has been developed in the last couple of years. So we don't have a date, but certainly would like to just kind of take a poll to see who might have an interest in participating in that. We'd like to do that sometime this fall, if possible.
You're not gonna take much trip up, right?
Yeah, you kidding? That would not be my preferred means of travel.
In February.
Flying us.
I do believe there's an airport in Albany.
There is. Not too far, right, fairly close to the casino, actually.
So we will, be working to see, what that date looks like, but then also kind of calling the board to see who's interested in participating.
I'm sure I think it would be great, it's just like we're doing a link district committee to kind of focus in on that. I think probably we should have an entertainment district committee, to look at, specifics and reporting back. What we should, as a group, should consider. I think that, everybody can't focus on everything, and I'm sure we gotta have a waterfront committee. So maybe our committee as a whole can kind of split up, like a couple people work on this, couple people work on that. So we can have some report backs and we can get moving. I know it's not gonna be quick, but have some direction.
Well, all those ideas are good. It's all about resources. Right now, Brian's stretched pretty thin. We do have some funds that we can make some decisions on once we get to that point. But I think we just need to see what our resource capabilities are as we begin to take on some of these projects, which are all pretty significant. Along the same lines, I think I'm struggling with, has there been any study from the casino, for instance, how many people local go to the casino, how many people are within the Norfolk area outside of 757? Is there any statistics that they have? I'm sure they do have at this point. Would be interesting to understand, engage, particularly if we're looking at entertainment. Is it going to draw local? Is it going to draw outside of the Hampton Roads area?
I can just share with what my knowledge is. The casino has excellent data on who their visitors are, where they're coming from. They, as you've been, they do obtain everybody's identification as they come through, but they also use tracking systems through mobile devices. So it's very easy to determine where somebody's coming from when they're heading to the casino, and then also where they're heading to leaving the casino. So there's data that is collected on that. That is, I do believe, somewhat held confidentially by the casino, just because it is kind of specific to their operations. They may be willing to share that to an extent, but obviously there's competition in the region now. But that's certainly something you can inquire about, but they track that very closely.
I guess I was looking at the fact that, of course, we know about the other casino coming up. And I think that we know their limitations, and I think that the area that we have around the casino could definitely make ours a bit more attractive than going to the other side. And that's what we want to boast at, so that by the time theirs come up, we have some things that would draw you to us versus, gonna happen. So we need to do the best we can and just figure that out.
One of the things that has been suggested is a market analysis to determine what the market demand is for various uses that would be desirable, agreeable to the casino as well. That would be related to entertainment, dining, retail, housing. That's something that has been suggested, so we may want to talk about that and how that is accomplished, maybe in partnership with Rivers. But currently, they are under contract and agreement, so they have development rights to that property. So we need to work with them for whatever types of development we desire.
What is the status of the CDC properties that are adjacent to or nearby Cana?
The Newport properties have all been acquired at auction. So there is a group, a development group out of Virginia Beach, Canopy Development, acquired a 58-acre, the largest piece of property portion, and has a plan for residential development, which is in accordance with the master plan for Newport, building that out. Another residential developer, Ella Homes, has acquired the 30-acre portion north of the interstate closest to Victory Crossing for residential development as well. So there's a couple of other smaller parcels over near Idawee that were acquired. And those are residential developments also. Jeff, if I'm missing any other, no, that's great properties. Thank you. So residential development is proceeding. So I think over the next 5 years, you'll have close to 1,000 new homes that will be developed in the immediate area, which will help with retail and I think strengthen Victory Crossing, Victory Boulevard corridor. In addition to that, a multifamily project was approved last week's council meeting for I think it's 160 units of multifamily housing adjacent to loans. So we'll have some new multifamily product coming online, which has been lacking in that area. For all this growth and development, there are no apartments nearby. It's single family homes. So from an affordability and workforce standpoint, it's important to have housing at all times.
Yeah, when I say entertainment, I'm talking about family type entertainment that will go with the residential properties. Hopefully they were interested in doing. I think I told y'all like the one in Tampa had bowling alleys. I'm not sure exactly, but that was a part of their entertainment district.
Is there any additional questions? I think we've got one other old business item, which is a update on the small business loan program. With the assistance of the city attorney's office, thank you, Mr. Miller, we have a contract that has been drafted and has been provided to Bridging Virginia, which was the vendor that was selected and awarded the contract on August 18th. So they do have the agreement, which is under review. Once that is executed, we'll begin the process of coordinating meeting with the Small Business Loan Committee to begin developing the program criteria and then launching the program. So I think we're very close. In fact, I've got a quick meetup with one of their team members today to talk about this. So I think we'll see some movement here in October with the actual program launch is what our goal is at this point.
Great.
Very okay.
Yes, we're up tonight.
We do have two new business items for your considerations running. The first is a new program that we are bringing before you for consideration, but it is not new to Portsmouth. In fact, it's existed since 2019. And that is the Port Host Community Revitalization Fund program. It is a program that is administered through the Virginia Department of Housing and Community Development, and it is available to the 5 Port Host communities in the Commonwealth, which includes Portsmouth, but also Norfolk, Newport News, Front Royal, and Richmond, which are all port host communities. The state budget has allocated $2.4 million annually for this program. And it allows for localities to apply for a base grant, one per locality, $480,000 annually. And that is a matching grant program, so it does require a local match. The grant is to be used for revitalization and redevelopment of port-related properties and furtherance of economic development and employment growth. The term port-related is fairly broad. It does allow for use for, again, redeveloping or revitalizing non-residential structures. And those need to be related to port activities located near a port or having some sort of transit connection that services the port. So Portsmouth obviously would be very much all those conditions. Properties do need to have some sort of physical or economic blight on the community, and in terms of eligibility for the use of the funds, acquisition of property, rehabilitation, repair, site remediation, demolition, and removal of structures are permitted uses. Get advanced to the next slide. Only local governments can apply for this program, or regional organization or industrial development authority. Each year since the creation of the program in 2019, the Economic Development Department has identified projects to consider for applications. Historically, the Portsmouth Port Industrial Commission has been the authority that has taken the lead administering the grant application process. But the Economic Development Authority for the code can also submit applications to the state. It is a requirement that a unit of local government applies directly or on behalf of a for nonprofit entity for privately owned properties. The focus of this program historically has been for private use that would generate a taxable investment in the community, but it does allow for a locality to use the grant program for city projects. And localities may designate a redevelopment authority or similar organization like the EDA or PPIC as the agent. It does require the chief administrative officer or city manager certification that the application has been determined to be the highest port-related priority for the grant year. The funding award structure, the awards are made as grants. They can also come in the form of a loan. Projects must be able to execute a contract with the state within 6 months of the grant announcement. And all projects need to have a restrictive deed covenant for a 5-year period that requires the state's approval for any change in the use of the property from the application. And then projects have an 18-month completion timeframe. So the next slide just shows a number of the projects that we have utilized the program for. You'll see they've been primarily industrial projects. They include a 70,000 square foot distribution center right next to Virginia International Gateway, demolition of the former BASF plant in West Norfolk, improvements at the waterfront for Crofton Industries on Harper Avenue, and then most recently there was an $800,000 grant award for 1040 Virginia Avenue, which is the Norfolk Portsmouth Beltline Railroad, and they are developing a rail-served transloading facility for commodities. We are proposing today that the program current round be pursued for funding for 1117, 1121 High Street. We are recommending that the EDA apply for a grant. And that would be for the renovation costs of the project. We feel like this is a eligible use of the funds. It is in keeping with the guidelines for the program. We would be recommending a grant request of $480,000, which is 50% of the project cost, and meets the 1-to-1 match requirement. Would limit the utilization of EDA funds to half the project cost. We do have costs that have been incurred to date, including architectural and engineering expenses, environmental surveys. So there are some funds that have been expended to date. But we do believe this would be a good use of the program and would help further the objective of the West District. The timeline for the application cycle is fairly tight. We are working towards an October 3rd submission date. In order to keep us on that track, we would ask that if you're in agreement, you approve a resolution today authorizing the application. That would then put us on track for September 23rd agenda item for city council consideration, which is a requirement of the grant program. And then that would allow for our submission on October 3rd. We would expect a grant award by the first quarter of 2026, and then the issuance of a performance agreement very soon after. 18-month completion period for the work. We wouldn't expect it to take that long, and we do think this schedule is in line with the procurement process for the project. So it's an opportunity to tap into some of that grant funding we've been talking about and move the project forward. So I'm happy to answer any questions. I know that's a lot of information. I would just kind of squeeze in about a 5-minute discussion or presentation. But
I move we move forward, make the motion. Yeah, that's a no. This is a no-brainer.
Yes, that's,
we do have a resolution that has been prepared. I could read the resolution. Thank you, Mr. Miller.
Whereas the Port Host Communities Revitalization Fund was established by the Commonwealth of Virginia to provide grants of state funds for port-related revitalization projects in 5 localities that are especially impacted by Port of Virginia operations, including Portsmouth. And whereas the grants are funded annually from a pool of $2.4 million, whereas the Economic Development Department conducts outreach to solicit applications for port-related Portsmouth businesses, and whereas no applications from private entities were received for this round of grant funding, and whereas the Economic Development Authority of the City of Portsmouth, Virginia desires to apply for a grant amount of $480,000, whereas the grant, if awarded, would be used by EDA for the revitalization of 1117 to 1121 High Street for port-related uses, and whereas the property is currently blighted and in need of renovation to turn it into commercially leasable space, and whereas project improvements would include roof replacement, interior building renovations, facade improvements, utility improvements, paving, landscaping, and other development expenses. And whereas the project would further a port-related use and maximize the benefits of Portsmouth's role as a port host community, improve the aesthetics of the area, increase the future tax base, and provide an estimated 5 employment opportunities upon completion. And whereas EDA acknowledges that receipt of the grant would require the EDA to commit its own matching funds to the project in the amount of at least $480,000, and is willing to make said commitment. Now, therefore, it is hereby resolved that 1, the EDA authorizes the submittal of an application for a Port Host Community Grant of $480,000. 2, subject to the award of the grant, EDA hereby commits the matching funds to the project. 3, the chair, vice chair, and secretary are each authorized to execute such applications, agreements, and other documents or instruments as they deem necessary or desirable to apply for, obtain, and comply with the grant. 4, this resolution shall be effective immediately upon its adoption.
Motion to adopt.
Just a question. The expenditures that we've already incurred for architectural and engineering, environmental work, is that an eligible match?
They are, yes. Any expenditures prior to the submission of the grant can be considered to be matched.
Okay.
Brian, there's a tenant in the building currently. Will we be doing anything
on their side?
We'll be making some exterior repairs as well as their, roof will be getting replaced, but there are no interior improvements currently planned since it's occupied. But the exterior of the property will be renovated, overhauled. And this should have no impact on their occupancy of the property. Good. And we'll, unless there's any further discussion on the item, on the roll call vote. Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Barber,
All right.
Mrs. Saunders Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
and Mr. Hart.
Yes.
Here, the item is approved by a vote of 5-0. Thank you. We'll be bringing this forward for City Council's consideration in a week. So, Mr. President, if we can move forward to the last item under new business, which is a Black Brand Black Diamond Weekend event sponsorship opportunity. We have been contacted by Black Brand. There is a Black Diamond Weekend event coming up. And one of the things that was added, I think, when they presented to you last year, you did sponsor last year, I think, at the $10,000 level. One of the things that was requested was what was the economic impact. So we've been providing a pretty significant report on what the benefits were to Portsmouth when that was held here in Portsmouth at the Renaissance in 2024. And I'm just going to kind of run through that very quickly because it is a fairly lengthy report. But there was significant direct and indirect economic impact to the city. They were here for a 3-day period, so there were a number of activities and events that were held in collaboration with the event. We have some specific numbers. If we can jump to the next slide. You can see here that they had over 431 attendees. One of the things that they did, which was intentional, was having the attendees dine outside of the hotel. So they were here in Old Town visiting our restaurants and establishments. You can see there, based on an average daily spend for lunch, it was about a $32,000 investment in direct spending in our Old Town community. Other hosting expenditures was about an $80,000 expense related to hotel room stays, as well as hotel expenditures. Transportation spending, fairly minimal there. I think that probably reflects the Elizabeth Ferry trip that was taken by the group, about $300 expense there. Local business grants, there were 3 grants awarded as part of their cohort, $3,000 to Portsmouth businesses. And their total indirect and multiplied investment was about $173,000 to the community through the event last year. So I was pleased to see they had some numbers to support their ask. So again, the sponsorship request for this year has been again at a $10,000 level. If we can move to the next slide. They've identified some ways in which you can support either through non-monetary contributions, promotion of the event, but they are looking for financial support as well. And the last slide, I think, is pretty much here what the ask is. Again, they're seeking a $10,000 sponsorship. The event is November 13th through 15th. Please note this is being held in Hampton this year. They are moving the event from locality to locality. And what they have offered, as part of the sponsorship opportunity would be an exclusive Portsmouth plenary, activation. And that would highlight Portsmouth initiatives, including, Portsmouth United campaign and economic development programming and other, for-profit and nonprofit businesses. There at the bottom, you can see some of the other, benefits, which would be, advertisement opportunities, exhibitor booth, and then a table for 10 at the Black Diamond Event Gala. So presenting this for your consideration. Obviously not a Portsmouth-based event this year, but certainly an opportunity to provide support.
Is the department sponsoring this year?
We will likely sponsor. I don't know what level just yet. So we are considering being a sponsor as a department.
Of course, I was a big supporter. I went to it and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I don't know that I think that we should support it at that level this time. I think because it was a Portsmouth event and we were supporting that, we may could look at doing something like maybe if some of our businesses that you all work with that want to attend the campus, maybe we could, sponsor them in that way, but not be at the $10,000 level for me.
Did they have the tiered approach this year like they did last year?
I'm sorry.
The tiered approach, like for levels of giving?
Certainly, yes. I think they started with where you were last year, but if there's a desire to come in at a reduced sponsorship level, certainly look at other options. And whether that is, individual tickets for the event or the sponsorship level that we're looking at. I don't know if you have a number in mind, but we're having to go back and see what the options are.
We have typically sort of matched the sponsorship that Portland has done in the past. If we sort of had an idea of what that might be, then we go together as a unified front.
I think we would be prepared to sponsor the $2,500 level. If you were willing to match that, and that would be a $5,000 contribution, which I think is considerable and significant. It would certainly provide opportunity for participation, marketing, and support of what I believe is a worthy organization cause.
We need a motion.
That we need to take some formal action. Is that this?
Well, yeah, it should.
Okay, we're so excited. We would be a sponsorship of the Black Diamond event.
Fine, and it's $25.
A second.
The motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Read the roll. Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Barber?
Aye.
Mrs. Saunders Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
And Mr. Harmon?
Yes.
That was approved by a vote 5-0. Thank you. I will advise Black Brand if you are a sponsor along with our department, and we'll follow up with event information if anybody's interested in attending.
You also find out what level of exposure that gets us.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
That concludes our new business. Chair, we do have a need for a closed meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move to go into closed meeting pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711 dot 3 for the purpose of discussing acquisition or disposition of real property where the discussion in an open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body, specifically regarding the dispositions of 8 Crawford Parkway, 2 Crawford Parkway, 2 Harbor Court, and 3 Harbor Court, and strategic acquisitions.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Barber,
Yes.
Mrs. Saunders Smith,
Yeah.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Mr. Harmon.
Yes.
Chair, the item is approved by a vote of 5-0. We're now in a closed meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I hereby move that each commissioner certify to the best of his or her knowledge that only business matters lawfully exempted from the open meeting requirements under the Freedom of Information Act and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion by which the closed meeting was convened or heard, discussed, or considered in the closed meeting just concluded.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the item? Hearing none. Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Barber,
Aye.
Mrs. Saunders Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
and Mr. Harmon.
Yes.
The item is approved by a vote of 5-0. We're now in an open meeting.
Any items board members wish to discuss or bring up?
I do. I have, I sent out to Ms. Faith last night. Thank you for being able to get these printed out. But this, little review I did of our trip to Greensville. And, I was very interested in the economic impact of the entertainment venues that the city, the entertainment venues have on the city. Because I had this conversation with Councilman Moody and the city manager about the absence of Willett Hall and what Willett Hall used to be to the city. And it was pretty much, glossed over at the time because we were on a field trip. So, but coming back, I had a chance to explore the city in some other areas and talk to some people. And I wanted to come back and see. One of the questions I asked the mayor there, been the mayor for 35 years, is he explained inexplicable rush of people that come to downtown Greensville on a Sunday afternoon. And I was like, where do these close to 1,000 people come from out of the air? But Greenville has an airport there. So the airport has a lot of layovers on Sunday. So that could contribute to the people coming in, influx of people coming into town. But one of the most important things that contribute to the influx of people coming to Greensville to frequent the restaurants, to frequent the hotels, to go to shops, is they have events there. They have event centers and they have their event calendars packed chock full of events there. So at a glance, just from the Main Street area, there were like 19 lodging options, 19 hotels, Airbnbs, small places to stay, 180 cafes and bars, restaurants, cafes and bars, 60 unique to-do things in the city. Those will be included. Some of the entertainment venues will be included in this, as well as like the Riverwalk area and the Native American Hotel, and 129 places to shop. A lot of little stores, a lot of little shops and boutiques there. But what I did notice that in their downtown areas, everything's walkable, everything's clean and well, signage is everything, but the impact comes from entertainment. People come to Greensville to see shows and to see events. And other than the corporation that's there that brings the business in, I think it was the BMW dealership or one of the luxury car dealerships and a textile industry that they had that was creating jobs. Everything else was created, all of the robust part of the economy was created by the entertainment venues. So they have the Peace Center, which was once the place where they shot the Jerry Springer shows and all of this. One of the city councilman's family owns this building. They they decided to turn the Peace Center into a entertainment venues ran by a nonprofit organization. But you can see since it's been turned into an entertainment venue and it's created over $1 billion in economy. It's had $1 billion boost to the economy, and it brings in $46 million annual in revenue to Greensville. It's a place that this is probably like the most equivalent to what we used to have at Willard Hall, where you have concerts and events, and you don't have to go to the casino to book from them an entertainment place to have a kids concert or a gospel concert. It's a welcome to they have any kind of events at the Peace Center. Lots of events at the Peace Center. If you look at one of the slides, it shows an aerial view of the Peace Center. They also have smaller venues associated with it. So the Peace Center itself is a 2,114 seat venue, but then they have a smaller 430 seat theater, and they have another smaller 1,500 seat theater, all within that same walking distance area. And one of the days we were booked there, 3 events were booked. And one of the days we were visiting there were 3 events going on in each one of the centers. Wow. I don't know if it was one event that was using 3 of the centers, but all 3 of the centers had activity going on in it. The second venue they have that's well noted is the Bon Secours Wellness Arena. And just get down, I'm gonna summarize this whole thing because we're running along, but just to get down, this venue contributed $21.5 million. It doubled from $21.5 million in 2016 to over $55.8 million in 2024. And the sources of these numbers is listed on the back page of this. It's all on Greensville website. You can go look. They're very proud of their accomplishments with these things. They have a lot of concerts, events, and convention center type things at this Bon Secours Wellness Arena, aside from having their own convention center as well. So they have the floor field, which the mayor talked about. We used to have Franklin Lawrence Stadium, and the Tides actually played at Franklin Lawrence Stadium when it was in Portsmouth, but Norfolk built a newer stadium. If you build it, they will come sometimes. So floor field, the mayor said they got the worst baseball team in the state. Nobody goes for the baseball. They go for the cheap hot dogs, but it's always packed. It's always that area of Main Street down by Floor Field and the bars and the restaurants down there, always packed. Cheap baseball games, cheap hot dogs, draws a lot of people, draws a lot of revenue. They spend money in the surrounding areas and the cities and the hotels. And the Greensville Convention Center, city owns property that's aside from the Peace Center and the other locations that we just spoke about. And although their exact revenue wasn't what their exact economic contribution wasn't available to me, it does on the site, it does say that it's made an increase in visitor spending, job creation. It's attracted more businesses there to the city. It's provides support for local events. It drives demands, enhances community perception because we have our own. Every city in the 757 has their own convention center except for Portsmouth. Every city has a convention center except for Portsmouth. And we talked a little bit about regionalism when we were there too. And the way they work toward their regionalism and their private partnerships I think is different from the way we do it because they identify an area and then let their business, they promote the whole area. They don't promote one city within their region. They promote the whole area and they let the developer figure out what section of that area they want to move into. So it's a different approach from what I believe they do it here. But the thing is, we can't rely on like other cities to keep hosting events and pulling our people away from it. And we can't just rely on the casino to be the go-to event center in Portsmouth because a lot of people don't like visiting dens of iniquity, casinos, and sinful places and stuff like that. So it's just a conception that people have about that. But you can see I did a summary page where the summary page shows the economic output of these venues in the city of Greensville. So there's $46 million contributed by the Peace Center. There's $875 million contributed by the Bon Secours Wellness Arena. Fluid Field is good for $34,000, and the Greenville Convention Center is good for another $300 million. So that's a total of $1,255 million in economic impact from entertainment venues in that city, from the combination of entertainment venues in the city. And while we have the casino, and while they did pay $20,000 in taxes $20 million in taxes in 2024, and contributed $861,000 to local nonprofits in its first year, we still need alternatives to the casino. I don't like going to casinos, so we need alternatives to casinos. With all of this new renovation, waterfront property coming up, link districts coming up, there's opportunities to bring venues back to Portsmouth and bring some of the economic impact from entertainment venues back to Portsmouth. We have the Atlantic Bank Pavilion, which is the big pavilion over there. And aside from the money that we spent like $400,000 in repairs to that building over the last couple of years. They've only hosted 10 events. So they're there, but they want nothing. They only hosted 10 events. So there's some considerations from Portsmouth that I'd like you all to just at your leisure, take time and read and bring back to another meeting. But we need another venue here. And down there, the mayor said, he quoted one of the rappers, Ja Rule, and said, if your dreams don't scare you, you're not dreaming big enough. My dreams never scare me, but when I present my ideas to other people, they go, oh, you can't do that, that's too big. So my dreams scare other people. So if you look, I think if we had a chance to bring a new entertainment venue like the Sphere, like they have in Las Vegas, to the waterfront, just as an icon, just an eye catcher, placemaker, something like that. The Sphere is currently making $2 million a day off of showing the Wizard of Oz. That's a great economic impact. The Sphere actually saved Vegas from declining attendance amongst all the casinos that they got in Vegas. Once the Sphere came into existence, some of the visitors went back up. The visitor numbers went back up because a lot of people don't like casinos, but Vegas is a good place to visit, and that Sphere is a wonderful attraction to have there. And last but not least, I'm just skipping through this because last but not least, it ain't all pearls and diamonds in Greensville. This is one of the shopping areas that I wandered down the street. I crossed the tracks. I went to places where they didn't want us to see. And this shopping center looks just like one of the ones the blighted ones that we're complaining about in meetings here. So it's just, I say that to say that they do put attention into their city. They put attention in certain areas of the city. And I think a lot of the draw to their city is because they have a chock full event calendar with things to do. People come to the city to do things. I've never been to a restaurant because it existed. I stumbled upon the restaurant because I'm there for something else. I don't even do restaurants pretty much, but restaurants are byproducts of people being in the area. Attendance at restaurants, going to your business, or shopping at different businesses. Those are byproducts from visitors being in the area, and events will bring visitors to the area if we had event spaces here. But unfortunately, other than the casino and renting out the Renaissance, there's no dedicated event spaces in the city. So in some of this new renovation and development, I think that we should consider, amongst all the mixed use properties and things that we want to bringing back an event center to the city.
A lot.
Yeah, I said I messed other people's minds up, man. So it's like,
Well, and I think we do need to think big, and this is a city that doesn't always believe in itself.
right. And our reputation in the region is not the best reputation in the region. So when they talk about regionalism, we're not at the top three.
Yeah, let's have the
We're
conversation.
not in the top three in the region. So we're like we got to change the perception and the connotations that people think of when they see us. And
Well, I think it's, first I applaud you for putting this together and
It is
doing it.
fantastic.
It's great,
You're welcome.
definitely. And, I think that maybe, don't we meet today, to talk about the Greenville, trip? I mean, I think you should bring at that meeting, bring some of these things that,
Definitely,
you
definitely.
know, that they talked about, because the mayor there did talk about how these help the influx of people. It's not just restaurants,
Right,
right? It's
right.
not just, you have to have an event center.
Right.
Something that would draw. So, yeah, I think it's great.
I think we have relationships that sometimes we don't take advantage. I mean, I don't think anybody reached out to, what's the guy who did the dome, Pharrell. I mean, he's always talking about the importance of being in communities. You know, I mean, so there are people that maybe we need to do a better job of developing relationships with. And I'm
Well,
like,
it's not just him, because I'm telling you, one of my first jobs leaving college was working for a music producer who found Pharrell. I found Pharrell in a box full of cassette tapes in the back of an office and gave him an opportunity to become, but he is not, he's a face of it, but he's not the brain or the initiative behind it. It's an organization like us that finds people like him to be the spearhead of it, to make it more palatable to the public. So
all I'm saying is the importance of relationships in business.
Right.
Sometimes I think we can do a better job of establishing the appropriate relationships for people to invest in us. You know, I love the Spear only to the extent that I would love people to look over from
a smaller version,
themselves.
yeah, a much smaller version, of course.
You know,
But
I'm just saying, whatever we do there needs to be an icon. It needs to bring attention to it, and so that the people that live in the city of Portsmouth are proud of their city. So much you said. I don't go any place where grass isn't cleaned up at a major retailer. That's an expectation.
Mhm.
You know, that's your storefront.
Mhm.
You got grass that high, and I got to go into Carrabba or wherever the place is. That's a reflection on you as a manager, and it's a reflection on the city that doesn't enforce that.
Right.
And that's what we need. We just need to have a clean city and start.
And they do have a lot of ordinances that they put in place in Greensville. We talked to the mayor, and he was telling us about how, as downtown grew, certain ordinances came into place. For instance, signs, how everybody was on the same page with signs because it was an ordinance written for that. That's policy making. That's those guys. That's bringing new ordinances to, or if the ordinance already exists, going back to reinforce it. We don't even know if the ordinances to have them required to cut their grass even exist, or have them a requirement to maintain a immaculate facade even exists. So things to look into.
Appreciate it. Report backs.
Two report backs, so one of which Treasurer Sandra Smith has mentioned. This evening, there is a follow-up meeting on the Greenville trip, which will be held at 5:30 p.m. at the sports tonight. So we've Deborah White, city clerk, has set out invitations with details. Hope you're able to attend. Not the best weather out today, but if you can make it out, I think everybody would appreciate your input and feedback, and I think they're looking to identify some priorities. And then the last item I have is some unfortunate news of another departure here in our office. These are all bittersweet announcements because Ms. Faith Griffin is leaving to take a position with Portsmouth Public Schools here in late days now, 3 days.
Yeah.
End of the week. So Faith has accepted a teaching position with the elementary school, Douglas Park.
Yep.
And we're going to miss having her. She is the glue that holds this organization
You
together.
might need to get HR to look at your pay scales and make some adjustments.
So, but really great for her, something she's been pursuing for some time. So we're going to miss her. You won't be hearing from her after Friday. That's her to share updates on her school, but she's been great and has really kept us a well-oiled machine, kept us moving forward. So, Faith, I'm not sure if you have anything else you want to add to that, but
No, I've enjoyed my time here and getting to know everybody, and I love hearing everyone's opinions on stuff, and I am gonna miss it, but I am very excited to be a first grade teacher. So I've always wanted to be a teacher.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm excited about Douglas Park. It seems like a really good opportunity to make a difference, so.
We're gonna miss you, so, you'll keep in touch, I know you will. You're still gonna be here, of course. That's important. Chairman, that's all I have.
There are no other questions. This meeting is adjourned.